Okay, so you're sick on set. No one knows you're sick.
It was brutal.
How and why did you hide that pregnancy? Like, did you hide it because of the first 12 weeks and you just didn't want to tell people, or did you not want to tell people?
A variety of reasons. You know, I think I was surprised in my pregnancy. You know, there's a series, you know, you have big test at like 11 weeks. And then there's another, and I thought, okay, by the time I get to that test, I'll feel better and like less nervous about this pregnancy and whatever. Cause obviously like we all have, I've had friends who struggled to get pregnant, struggled to stay pregnant, things like that. So you never know. And even when we got, you know, all the positive test results back from that like 11-week scan, so funny. I remember, you know, there's that special doctor that you go to in LA here for it.
The MFM, the maternal fetal medicine
something
doctor.
like that.
MFM, yeah.
But I was prepping to direct, and it was only the second episode I directed. And I think it was like a day before prep. It was like a big casting call or something like that. And I wasn't on set, and I had to get that doctor's appointment in before I actually started directing.
Yeah.
So I flew down, and I'm like in the hallway of like sitting outside that doctor's office early, trying to take this call and like putting it on mute so that no one knows where I
that
am.
You're like, and they're like, and this is going to hurt when we push right here.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, it's funny. I hadn't thought about that. So kept it, and I did want to keep it a secret while I was directing, because I have heard stories of, you know, studios or insurance people or whatever getting nervous about women being pregnant and wanting to have a backup or something. So I was nervous that they would take away the opportunity because I was pregnant.
Listen, you know, I've never told this story, but I remember sitting at a table with an executive from a studio, which I will not name. And when we had the discussion, when we were talking about me starting a family, and I expressed that I, for medical reasons, cannot carry children, he told me that that was a good thing for my career because they wouldn't have to worry about losing me. And I remember sitting there, I'm getting like anxiety even saying it out loud. I remember sitting there thinking to myself, I can't believe that you just said that me not being able to carry my own children is a fucking good thing.
I'm sorry that happened.
I was like appalled. But then I rationalized it when I got out of there. And I was like, you know what? I guess it is a good thing. That makes me a really great, successful lead of a show if they don't lose me because I get knocked up. Like, it was really hard. I went home and I told my husband, and I was like, I can't believe that someone just said this to my face as if that's acceptable to say to someone. So the fact that you kept it a secret, I completely understand that.
Thanks.
Because you never know what someone's going to hold against you. You know, they still think that women who carry babies are you know, that in some way a liability or a risk or an emotional basket case or something like that. It's just ridiculous. Yeah. Ridiculous.
So
what was being pregnant at work like? Because you're away from Hayes, obviously.
Great.
So you're by yourself. Like I can't imagine.
Yeah. I'll be honest. I didn't love being pregnant. Like that was just, you know.
Yeah.
Some women do. It wasn't my favorite. It's like a tiny alien is inside your body and has taken over. And
I've decided that's one of my silver linings to not being able to carry. I see what people go through, and I'm like, whew.
And some people love it, and that's great for them.
Yeah.
That was not my experience.
Yeah.
And, you know, it was tough. I mean, I hid it for a long time. And, you know, I was sick with both my kids, and just like getting up in the morning and like trying to get food in my stomach and knowing that the minute I brushed my teeth, it was probably going to come right back up again. Like,
no.
You know, it was a challenge. And then a bit of a relief when I told people, you know, again, everybody has different reactions and things like that. And, you know, it's also one of those things that like, word spreads quickly and sometimes faster than I was prepared for. So, you know, we went through the season, and my first pregnancy, I mean, I started to have a little belly, but I remember the difference between, you know, we filmed the first 2 or 3 weeks in December, and then everybody goes away for a 2-week break, and then you come back in January. And the difference in that episode, I can't remember what episode it was, but the difference between like before we went on break and after we went on break, it was like, oh, she's pretty pregnant now.
I've heard the difference between with pregnant people, like pregnant women, like in the difference between the morning and the night is like,
oh yeah,
what did you eat a whole cake? Like it just like pops.
You never know. And the same thing, like first pregnancy, second pregnancy, like first pregnancy through about 20 weeks, I feel like I did a pretty decent job. Yeah.
When did you tell people?
Probably closer to 15 or 16 weeks with my first kid. And then with my second kid, it was showing.
It was like 2 weeks in. You're like, well.
I did it. I mean, again, kept it a secret for a while.
Yeah.
For a while.
Yeah. What was childbirth like? I'm always so intrigued by people's experience because I didn't experience it. I saw it in the room, but I didn't experience it.
I'm glad you could be there.
It was wonderful. With COVID, we were told that there was a very good chance we wouldn't be able to get in there.
So scary.
Then we were told that only one of us. Then we were told, you both can come in. You're going to have your own room. If there's a C-section, neither one of you can come in. And we were like, okay, we understand because we are not her support system.
Yeah.
So for our surrogate, if that happens, unequivocally, we would want her partner with her. Mm-hmm. It shouldn't be us.
Yeah.
But we got to be there. It was, I remember like, you know, our surrogate was not like very touchy. Come to know her now, she's incredibly touchy, and I could have been touching her a million times, but I never felt her belly. I never felt like I could. I felt like I was very protective of her space and like knowing that like, that's her body and like so I didn't do it. And then our daughter was born, and she's like we cut the cord and the whole thing. And I remember like as they're wheeling our daughter out of the room with my husband and I, and she still has another big push to get out the placenta. Her legs are in the stirrups. I dove on her like a fucking crazy person. Her legs are in the stirrups. Our daughter's being wheeled out of the room. I dive on this woman and I'm bawling and just like hugging her. And then she's crying. And the doctors are like, you're going to have to put... So I was like, I'll leave you alone. But I just like being in the room was such a wonderful thing. Yeah. So what was...
I mean, with both my kids, it's magical. Like it's, you know, it is sort of out of body, or I think it was for me. Like you just can't believe that this is happening. Mm-hmm. But it's magical. I think I feel that way about parenthood in general. Yes, it's exhausting, but it's magical.
It really is.